Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. Oh, Natalia. Natalia is the gift that keeps on giving. When she first came on, and she had a little stink attitude here and there, she definitely irked the living hell out of me. And I have a feeling she's going to continue to irk the hell out of me on occasion. But the reason why I'm sitting there saying she's the gift that keeps on giving is because of two scenes. In the first scene is with Blaze and Natalia. Um, they get into this conversation about a stylist that wardrobe or whatever, and she's like, hey, Blaze is like, hey, listen, how she styles me when I'm singing or whatever, that's one thing, but during my downtime is something else. And Natalia's pretty much like, what downtime? What are you talking about? This is 24/7. Like this is your life. What downtime? What are you talking about? They talk about this one song that Natalia just finds is trash, and she's like, it'd be a really good idea is to get your brother on this. Now, the reason why I'm snitty saying that she's the gift that keeps on giving in this scene is because Natalia, I mean, Blaze, Allison, you are a grown ass woman. If you do not like the way that she is managing your career, get rid of her. Okay? You're not some 18, 17-year-old kid that's singing at auditions or whatever and having Bobby manage your stuff. You're a grown ass woman. Okay, the fact that she's not there going back and forth this much and talking about, oh, well, you should really come down on Brooklyn so much, but then hire Brooklyn then. Like, you have options. You don't have to sit there. I don't understand. Like, this is the part that just makes Blaze look so dumb. Makes her look so stupid. I wonder if we're actually going to sit there and see her brother anytime soon, because I have a feeling like they didn't just mention this out the blue just because. Right? So after a while, Blaze gets fed up and she just leaves. And most people will get fed up and be like, okay, you're fired. Of course, not Blaze because, well, she's an idiot. Now, scene number two is going to come in, but I got to sit there and talk about Ava and Sunny. Sunny is getting all mad, getting defensive with about Carly. Venting to Ava. Ava is just feeding into her. Yeah, I mean, she shouldn't be doing that. I mean, she shouldn't be talking down to you. You're not a kid. No. She comes in here, she's all entitled, just really feeding and adding fuel to the fire that eventually is going to burn her ass. But there's a point where there's a point where he's like, maybe I should sit there and get my blood, um, check just to sit there and show her, hey, listen, my meds, I'm taking my meds and everything like that, and it's all good. And I thought she was going to sit there and give some resistance at first, but she's like, yeah, you should totally do that. And then he talks, and then he pretty much kind of just talks himself out of it. And then she's like, yeah, well, you shouldn't, if you do this now, then what else is she going to sit there and have you do like she runs stuff or whatever. So I'm still just like, Ava, you are something else, to put it mildly. But he gets all worked up. He goes outside, he decides to go to the park or whatever. He meets up with Natalia. They start venting about their daughters a little bit. Seem like they're getting along and everything. He talks about Carly and his bipolar and everything like that, and it's still, kind of, still venting about Carly. I'm just like, but I can't sit there and say much because he's still on his, he's still low in his doses. So I can't even sit there and be upset about the fact that in some ways he's kind of trashing his ex-wife to somebody else. First is with Ava, now is with damn near total strangers that you don't even really know. But again, he's kind of off his meds, so I can't really sit there and go in on him. Anyway, it seemed like they're getting along, so he decides to take her back to his place. So Ava sees Sonny come in, she's all happy and smile. Then she sees Natalia, and she's like, she just has that look like, what the are you doing here? So they get to talking and everything, and Sonny's like, yeah, I want to sit there and bring it back to, have some drinks or whatever. Why don't you, Ava's like, oh yeah, I'll pour you a drink. And he's like, yeah, pour Natalia a drink too. And she just has that look like, excuse me, what are you talking about? So she, pours drinks or whatever, and those two are talking, and Ava starts getting all really up close to Sonny, and Sonny's like, don't you got some calls to make at the gallery? You got stuff to do, right? You got some errands to do, right? Pretty much like, and so she leaves or whatever. They talk, and Natalia's complimenting his place, and Sonny's like, well, yeah, it's fine, but maybe you can use a woman's touch or whatever. And Tyler's like, what about Ava? And Sonny was like, nah, it's just and ain't that type of party. Ava is creeping the entire time in the corner and just kind of turns over and just looks. And she ain't too happy. They're laughing, they're smiling, and she's just looking. And I'm just like, oh, seems like you got a little fork in your plan, huh? What do you got? I mean, you're not gonna county file error, right? You're not gonna do that. So what's your plan, Ava? What's your plan? Because it seems like you got a little wrench in your plan. So yes, that is why she is kind of the gift that just keeps on giving. Now I can't sit there and say how I'm gonna feel in the next episode, but for right now, um, yeah. Now Christina is getting super defensive with Alexis because Alexis like, what do you mean like you're a baby or whatever? And she's like, oh, it's just a slip of the tongue, and she's making a bunch of excuses, and she talks about her hormones and this, that, and the third, and then she gets all upset with Molly and TJ and stuff like that about how they have been nagging her, specifically TJ. And there's one point again with the whole oh my baby or whatever, and she's like, listen, if this is a slip in the tongue for you, don't you think that this is a problem? Of course, Christina, being the idiot that she is, doesn't see it as a problem. They talk a little bit more. Eventually, she leaves. Diane comes in, and she vents to Diane about how it could be a possible legal problem. Long story short, Christina has the right to the baby. Like, if she wants to sit there and fight this, she can. And even though they had their little contract or whatever, there's nothing really, that, what I'm saying? Like, that contract don't really mean anything. Now, Diane isn't there telling her just stay out of it. And initially, that's what Molly and TJ wanted her to do when she intervened. And now they're all like, oh, I need your help. I need you to sit there and talk to Christina. I need you to talk to Molly. It's like you told this chick to literally back off. And now you're sitting there bringing her in because you're not adult enough to sit there and handle this ish on your own. Now, Dante is still being conflicted about blurring lines between him being a cop and him being Sonny's son. Is not there thinking about resigning. And, Sam was like, I'm relieved that you said that. Now, I was very conflicted about this because I initially wanted to just rip Sam a new one, right? Because part of me is like, okay, but you married a cop. I mean, well, you didn't marry a cop, but you're dating a cop. You knew exactly what you were getting into, you know? You knew what you were getting into. So part of me is like, you're sitting there saying you're relieved. It's like, what do you mean you're relieved? I mean, you went out with him when he was initially a cop. Like, and I understand he got shot, but again, he's a cop. This stuff happens. And when you are with him, you're practically signing up for that life. So part of me was like, what? But then the other part of me is like, he almost died. And she doesn't want to sit there and go through that again. And so on that level, I do understand. So Dante goes to Anna. Anna was having some conversation with Calvin or whatever the hell. I think his first name is Calvin about her moving into his new apartment and everything. Dante comes in and Dante hands her his resignation letter. And Smith is saying that I just I'm blurring the lines too much and I don't want to sit there and compromise myself or compromise this badge and everything. So he's like, listen, I need to resign. And Anna talks about her conflict of interest and that they're saying that for a long time she blurred the lines with Sonny because Sonny was there for Robin. And I know a lot of people are still upset with Anna for her sudden turn on Sonny. But here's something that she said. She's like, my debt has been paid. Okay? Yes, it went both ways. Sonny has helped Anna out, Anna has helped Sonny out. But at some point, you know what I'm saying? Like, she is the commissioner, and he is a mobster. So at some point, it's not like, hey, listen, don't sit there and try to throw like where it's just coming from or why are you doing this now? No, my debt has been paid. I've been sitting there looking out for you and been a friend to you for my daughter's sake. But we're not going to sit there and keep going on for like another 20 years. We good. We're squared up. Um, and she convinces him to keep, to still be a cop and sit there saying, hey, listen, maybe you didn't cross all these lines because you had that badge. The minute you don't have that badge and he asks you to do something, you know, are you going to find it difficult to do? So she convinces him to keep the badge, and I'm very curious to sit there and see how Sam is going to react. That should be interesting. And when he walked in, and she was like, why are you quitting or whatever? Is it because you got shot? And he was like, yeah, I didn't want to sit there and do that to Sam. And part of me was like, and you didn't want to do that to your son also, right? Because that should have been the first sentence that should have came out your mouth. The second part might have been Sam, but the first part should have been your son, you know? The fact that he didn't open up with that was just kind of alarming, but whatever. Now Molly does come over Christina's place. Christina's with Blaze, and she pretty much, wants, apologizes for the way that Christina has been treated by TJ and everything like that, and was like, "Hey, listen, I'm gonna sit there and talk to him because he's not gonna be somebody trying to run your life and everything." So she thanks him and she thanks her and everything like that, and she's all like, "Well, what about Sonny?" And that's where I feel like the conversation just kind of shortened really fast. Like it was a weird conversation because she was like, "Okay, well, I'm the DA. I mean, I know what Sonny does. I can't sit there and try to look the other way. What are you sitting there saying?" Like, and it was one of those things where it's like, I feel like it could have went into a deeper conversation, but they just kind of just stopped, hugged and everything like that. And Molly was like, okay, cool. I'm going to sit there and try to get TJ to take off. And it was like, no, the conversation really should have been, are you going to continue to sit there and see your father who is being, shot at multiple times while you're pregnant? That's the conversation. And to honestly tell you, I feel like she's concerned about that as well. She may not have actually said it. Maybe she didn't want to rock the boat or whatever, but it's like, that is a legitimate concern. The fact that I didn't sit there and think about that before just boggles my own mind. But that's why I love doing these live streams sometimes because when I'm doing them and I'm defending a certain point and somebody brings up something else, I'll think about it. I'll think about it afterwards and be like, you know what? Maybe that person actually had a good point. So anyway, I feel like that's about it. I can't think of anything else, but I'm pretty sure there's probably more to talk about that I missed. So, come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll sit there and talk about all the shows, General Hospital, Days of Our Lives, Bold and the Beautiful, Young and the Restless. With that being said, I'm going to go. I'll see you in the next video.